They can't use their bathrooms and things like that, and we can't get any help from the city.
Now at 5, constant rain leads to constant flooding. Neighbors are fed up, wanting the city to step in. We take their concerns right to the top.
We're dry now, but that will change later this week. We'll get into a daily chance for showers and thunderstorms. We'll focus on rainfall potential.
The future of the White River in Marion and Hamilton counties is becoming more clear. The vision for what you will be able to do along the river finally shared. We'll show you the plans.
Also new at 5, stepping down and moving on. In battles, Councillor Stephen Clay explains why he's resigning only to RTV6.
This is RTV6 News at 5, working for you.
Welcome in. First at 5, flooding and drainage problems in Kokomo. 2 viewers reached out to RTV6 in different neighborhoods with the same issue.
You can see the problem right behind us. RTV6's Stephanie Wade goes to the city to see what they're trying to provide some relief for all of these people.
Roads like West Madison Street in Kokomo often get flooded when it rains, and people want the city to do something about it.
There's not a drain down the road, and that don't make no sense, not having a drain. There should be at least one drain.
Neighbors here are no strangers to flooding. These pictures show just how bad it gets when it rains. Flooded yards, flooded streets. And the same goes for people who live along Zartman Road, also on the west side, who back up to this farm field.
It's like if we get enough water, it runs over our foundation, and then it is in our bedroom and downstairs. So also today we're having people come out test for mold.
I went to the city to get some answers on what might be causing the drainage issues.
Any city or aging infrastructure of any community across the Midwest facing increased rainfalls, you are going to have more and more of this.
And good news for people who live along West Madison Street. The city says they already have a project contracted out. They're just waiting for the rain to stop here so they can put a stormwater drainage in here as soon as possible. The other people, however, not so lucky. What the city has to say about that coming up at 6. In Kokomo, Stephanie Wade, RTV6.
Thanks, Steph. And if you are having a problem affecting your home and you can't get any answers, contact RTV6. Just email us at workingforyou@rtv6.com.
Let's take a look outside. What a beautiful day in central Indiana. Take that in. Of course, our thoughts are still with the families recovering from last Monday's tornadoes. Unfortunately, the nice weather you see before you will give way to clouds and possibly a lot more rain. Now in the tracking center here with Chief Meteorologist Kevin Gregory to fill us in on what we can expect tonight into Tuesday.
We're dry tonight and we're dry into tomorrow morning.
Good.
Changes come after that, so we might as well live in the moment, right? We've had enough
Enjoy
rain
the
for a
moment.
while. We've turned the page on May into June, but we've not changed the weather pattern. All right, temperatures this morning. Maybe you had your windows open for a while last night, then got up and said, wait a minute, it's too cool. It dropped to 48 in many outlying areas, 52 in Indy. Where are we now? 76 in the metro area. A little cooler to the north and east. These temperatures just a little below average for this time of the year. 77 in Terre Haute. The thin clouds there dimming the sunshine just a bit. Clouds not leading to any rain. Tonight we're dry, as I mentioned, and we'll start the day dry tomorrow. Most of us will stay dry all day tomorrow, but there is at least a chance for a shower or thunderstorm in the afternoon. There are a few fair weather cumulus clouds. Those will fade away later tonight and will go mostly clear. Let's call it comfortable temperatures. You know the humidity is low. You can just feel that. Sun doesn't set until 9:08. Temperature at 11 o'clock tonight, 66 degrees.
Thanks, Kevin. Leaders from across central Indiana unveiling what the future of White River could look like in Marion and Hamilton counties. Those leaders from Marion and Hamilton County released guiding principles for White River, what they think we need to keep in mind when it comes to developing new activities along the river. Now, first, they say we need to restore the White River's environment and health, that this will help attract more people to the river. This includes improving water quality. The group says the plan is to also increase year-round activities along the river, connecting retail destinations and neighborhoods to recreation and river amenities. They also want the river to help build economic strength and identity for local cities, meaning to use the river to help local businesses thrive and maybe attract new business to the region.
The river actually has served as the foundation for Indianapolis's humanity. I mean, when they were looking for locations for the capital city, they went up and down the White River and decided to host the Capitol here. And so when you really think about it, the river is at the core of our existence.
Of course, changes along the White River could take many years to implement.
Only on RTV6, a high-profile Indy City Councilor is explaining why he resigned today, 6 months before his term is up. Pastor Stephen Clay has been shunned by fellow Democrats on the City County Council after he became council president by unseating then President Maggie Lewis back in January of 2018. Clay managed to assume power with the help of Republicans on the council. Now, the pastor only lasted 6 weeks as council president and decided this year not to seek another term. He says he has no regrets.
We've paid a great price for it, but it was worth it. It was worth it because we should see leadership as a privilege and not an entitlement. And I think when individuals serve so long that they think the seat belongs to them, and then they initiate retaliation to remove people and to undermine their productivity and to have them expelled from the caucus as a matter of retaliation, says clearly to me that you've served perhaps too long. So I have no regrets. We have served and we serve in honor.
Pastor Clay says with city budget talks on the horizon, he wanted to make sure that the 13th district was well represented in the City County Council. Clay says he will use his voice in the upcoming mayor's election. So who will he support? We discuss that tonight on the News at 6.
Today, a federal judge questioned an attorney for the state of Indiana over whether the Indiana legislature had legitimate reasons for approving a law that would largely ban a second trimester abortion procedure. The American Civil Liberties Union of Indiana is seeking a preliminary injunction blocking the restrictions on dilation and evacuation abortions, which the legislation calls dismemberment abortion. U.S. District Judge Sarah Evans Barker questioned why the state would force women seeking an abortion to undergo what she calls highly risky alternative procedures, such as prematurely including labor or injecting fatal drugs into the fetus before its removal. The measure passed by Indiana's legislature and signed by Governor Eric Holcomb would make it illegal for doctors to use certain medical instruments to remove a fetus from the womb, except to save the pregnant woman's life or prevent serious health risks. Judge Barker says she will issue a ruling before Indiana's law goes into effect July 1st.
Today marks 8 years since the disappearance of IU student Lauren Spearer, and her family has released a new statement on social media. Spearer was 20 years old when she disappeared after a night of partying with friends in Bloomington back on June the 3rd, 2011. On Spearer's family's official Facebook page, they wrote in part, "Despite everything, something propels us forward. Of course, it is hope." The family wrote in the post, "Hope that today someone will have the courage to tell the truth or send an email or make a call or post a lead on social media. No one has ever been charged in Spearer's disappearance."
An investigation is underway into the death of a Lebanon police officer, though police say foul play is not suspected. Lebanon police officer Terry L. Nelson Jr. was found dead early this morning at his home. He was just 42 years old. Nelson was an 18-year veteran of the Lebanon Police Department. Detectives from the Carmel Police Department are investigating Nelson's death. But again, police do not believe there was any foul play.
Amanda, police are searching for answers after a woman's body was found in an alley near the 1900 block of Colorado Avenue, that on the city's east side. IMPD officers rushed to the location near Forest Manor Park just after 8 this morning, where they found a woman dead. Police say this is a death investigation for now, but it's not yet clear how the woman died.
Still ahead at 5:30 on RTV6, federal officials say there could be another problem with some of Boeing's 737 planes. Our Scripps team is looking into the issue and how it could impact you.
But we have more news at 5. You don't have to be a superhero or a doctor to save a life. Next, the simple steps to learning CPR. Kevin?
And no immediate rain on the horizon, but as we get to Wednesday and beyond, a pattern that turns wet and somewhat stormy. Rainfall potential 2 to 4 inches in portions of the state. We'll get into that more when we come back.
Rallies and checkers. Fast food is no big deal.
You're watching the news at 5 on RTV6. When a person goes into cardiac arrest, their chance of surviving depends on immediately receiving CPR.
This information is so critical. So as the American Heart Association kicks off CPR and AED Awareness Week, RTV6's Aaron Lish is working for you to show you how easy it is to learn these life-saving skills.
Providing CPR. Data shows 46% of people who go into cardiac arrest not at the hospital get the immediate help they need before medics show up. The American Heart Association shows us how easy it is to use hands-only CPR, which is recommended for adults and teens. It's suggested to use CPR with mouth-to-mouth for children, victims of drowning, drug overdoses, or those who collapse because of breathing problems.
So you get beside the person, you'll put your the meat of your palm of your hand right in the center of the chest, interlock your fingers and keep your arms straight. Get right over them so you can push down with most force.
You can press the chest to songs with 100 to 120 beats per minute, like Staying Alive and Baby Shark. Another life-saving device you can use is an AED.
Check responsiveness. Call for help.
You follow the simple steps on the device, which will provide a shock through the chest to the heart.
Open airway.
But it can't hurt someone. So if you were to put it on, and try to hit this shock button, it won't shock somebody unless it analyzes the rhythm and says that a shock is advised, and then it would tell you to stand clear, make sure no one else is touching the person so you don't get shocked. But then it would provide the shock, and hopefully that would restart a person's heart.
Always call 911, begin CPR, and have someone find an AED. You can make a difference. If performed immediately, data shows this can double or even triple a cardiac arrest victim's chance of survival. Aaron Lish, RTV6.
In more local news, a man already behind bars will likely face more charges after allegedly attacking a corrections officer at the Bartholomew County Jail. The Bartholomew County Sheriff's Office says the corrections officer was trying to remove Bradley McCrae from his cell on Saturday when he's accused of punching her in the back of the neck and the head. McCrae was already in jail for bringing heroin and fentanyl into Bartholomew County from Cincinnati. The officer has returned to work. The prosecutor's office will decide what additional charges McCrae will face.
Remains found in Arkansas are that of a little girl from Houston who had been missing for a month. That is according to police. The remains have been positively identified as those of 4-year-old Malia Davis. Malia was reported missing in early May by her mother's former fiance, Darion Vence. He initially told police that Malia had been abducted by a group of men, but investigators found signs of decay in his car and blood evidence in his apartment. Police arrested Vence several days after reporting Malia missing on a charge of tampering with evidence. Her cause of death is still unclear. Houston's police chief says those responsible for Malia's death will be brought to justice. And happening tonight, the town of Zionsville faces a vote that could change the face of its downtown. A previous vote on rezoning land for a $40 million apartment complex and commercial development ended in a 3-3 tie. These are artist renderings of the Sycamore Flats development. It would have 184 apartments and some commercial development. But in order for Sycamore Flats to happen, the J.C. Hart Company is asking the town council to rezone about 4 acres of land from the Village Business District designation to facilitate the project. Many of the people in the village have placed signs in their yards stating their opposition to the proposed apartment complex. Tonight's vote on rezoning that land is slated for 7 o'clock at Zionsville Town Hall. A bird's eye view of race day at Indianapolis Motor Speedway that the track is now releasing for the first time.
I have not seen this yet, but I can't wait. I've been excited to read this story for a while. It's a never-seen-before aerial look at IMS just minutes before the start of the 103rd Indianapolis 500. Join us. Take a look.
Altitude.
Now look at that. That is super cool. Gosh. It was the first ever double flyover in Indianapolis 500 history. 4 planes performed a synchronized stunt. That is simply amazing.
You can see the goosebumps on my arm right now, Rafael. And the plane you're seeing right now is the one that blasted straight up into the sky that left many fans in awe. I was one of them. IMS released this footage today.
I have that on my phone, but I lost the plane in the sky. So you saw those stunts from the ground, but this is the pilot's perspective. I just want to keep looking at this and stop the newscast right here. It's simply breathtaking.
It was incredible to watch, too. He just kept going. Very cool to see this image of it.
Yeah, it's awesome.
Well, an incredible sight. A NASA astronaut takes a time-lapse video of Earth from the International Space Station.
It all begins with a nighttime view of our planet. You can see all of the city lights below. Then the daylight, as you can see, gradually begins to cover a portion of the Earth. That's where you can get a great view of the clouds and the oceans. And we get a quick glimpse of some land. Now, why isn't there more land? Well, As our chief scientist will remind us all, Earth is about 70% water. Right, Kevin Gregory?
And we've been expanding the water, unfortunately, across more of Hoosier heartland. Yeah.
Well, this video shows about a third of the Earth's surface from the Pacific Ocean to the Atlantic.
I'm not sure which video I prefer best. I think I'm going to go, if we had a vote today, if this is a phone-in call, I'm going to go in with the IMS video wins the vote today.
Yeah, that was pretty cool.
Wow.
Because you get to see that without feeling the G-forces. He didn't look under too much stress, but I guarantee he's feeling that as you go vertical like that.
He's a pro like you're a pro.
I was feeling it in my chest watching him during that.
That's one of the highlights every year is the flyover. And I remember the Harrier jet one time, the one that can just, you know, lift off. Yeah. Stopped in the first turn, tilted a wing. I think the Secretary of Defense was there at that time, and then lifted up and then took off. So pretty amazing. Okay, you ready for something else stunning?
Yes.
Right there it is, a tractor in the field.
Okay.
That's a big deal.
Those farmers need it.
All right.
And so
To each their
finally,
own, Kevin.
you're starting to see that happen. Not in every county, not everywhere, but let's make little steps where we can. It started to dry out in spots, and then, as we mentioned, we'll get back to a daily chance for showers and thunderstorms. Doesn't mean all day rain. Doesn't mean we'll see rain everywhere. The chances are highest as we get to Wednesday. They come down a bit Thursday and Friday. Temperatures through this stretch, they'll be in the low 80s, 83 with thunderstorms likely, maybe a morning round, and then again later in the day on Wednesday, still in the 80-degree range as we get to Thursday and Friday. Right now, with low humidity, the temperature 76, 79 in Bedford. Temperatures through the evening hours will stay comfortable. Say hello to Lily and Sissy. Jim Porter has these little pups corralled on his lap. For now, it's my job to get him to hop off the lap and take a little stroll with me during the evening weathercast. 75 degrees at 7 o'clock. We'll be down to 66 this evening. I like that. We've got their undivided attention. See those ears straight up? 58 will be your temperature tomorrow morning. About 10 degrees warmer than we were this morning. Most areas were in the upper 40s. That was a great way to start the work week. And of course, we've said hello June. Just had the first couple days there over the weekend. Here's your full week of June, and temperatures will be average or above average. Tomorrow's highs right around 80 with any chance for thunderstorm later in the day. There's 1 o'clock, an isolated shower maybe around Lafayette, over to Kokomo, Muncie, north, but not widespread. I think we'll have to wait until we get to Wednesday for more widespread rain. Upper 70s to low 80s down to the south with a mixture of clouds and sunshine. About 82 in the metro area. This is what we wake up to on Wednesday. Some showers and thunderstorms. They're likely through the day. Again, periods of rain. Thursday, Friday, still that chance of thunderstorms over the weekend. The most likely time right now looks to be Saturday night. There may be a tropical system that feeds some moisture our way for the weekend. That's why some of these rainfall amounts could be 2 to 4 inches or more when you get through that whole stretch. It sounds real intimidating when I say that right away, but we've had spots with each rain event last week that picked that up in a short period of time.
A lot of rain. Kevin, thank you so much. Appreciate you. Only on RTV6, the drama is heating up on week 4, of course, of The Bachelorette, Amanda.
The 16 remaining men are battling for Hannah B's attention and affection, and tonight it's the battle of the Lukes.
You know, everyone in here thinks you're nuts, right?
Well, I know I'm not. I'm just telling the truth.
So tonight's tension between Luke S. and Luke P. will take center stage. This is key to my friends like Emily Carter, who watches the show, and trust us, there are many more words between the Lukes tonight that they may want just played for you. You'll get a chance to see how Hannah handles that situation.
The Bachelorette airs at 8 p.m. only on RTV6.
Good luck to all of them. Coming up, an unwanted guest slithers next to a sleeping couple. What? See what happens after the man and woman realize a dangerous snake, has joined the slumber party. No way. The news at 5 continues right after this.
Working for you.
Welcome back to the news at 5 here at RTV6, and Court TV is back in session. RTV6's parent company, Scripps, now owns the network.
Court TV's Julie Grant joins us with an update on a serious case involving a former NFL star.
Hello to you. I'm Julie Grant with Court TV. Today, we continue our gavel-to-gavel coverage out in San Diego of the case of the state of California versus former NFL star Kellen Winslow II. Today in court, things started off with a bang. Big breaking news from Kellen Winslow II. He told the court outside of the presence of the jury that he will not be testifying in his own defense.
Okay. All right. Do you plan on having your client testifying?
No.
Okay. All right, Mr. Winslow, I need to tell you that the decision on whether to testify or not is your decision. Oh, you can remain seated. It's okay. Yeah.
That was the answer to the question that has been on the minds of many. Will he take the stand? He told the court no. But his team will continue presenting evidence. Today, they intend to call many more witnesses. We understand there are 13 on their list altogether. They already called 2. The state has arrested, they called 29 witnesses with 5 different Jane Doe accusers. 3 of them are alleging forcible rape. So it could be that the defense may rest today. One way or another, we believe the jury will be getting this case this week. We'll continue our gavel-to-gavel coverage. Stay with Court TV for all of that. You won't miss a moment. I'm Julie Grant. Now let's send it back to you in the studio.
Thank you, Julie. You can stream Court TV live 24 hours a day, 7 days a week at courttv.com.
Okay.
Well, this next story comes out of What Were You Thinking file. Ugh.
A Tennessee couple was sleeping on the ground at the end of a dirt road. This is not a joke. So the first question is, why did you pick that spot to sleep on?
Yeah,
why?
This isn't the weird part, though. There's much more. Watch what happens when a deputy goes up to the couple. He spotted a rattlesnake touching their heads.
Don't move. There's a rattlesnake right next to you. Okay. Don't move.
Okay.
The officer tells the pair not to freak out. Yeah, okay, try that again. But the man ignores those instructions and runs away, leaving the woman there by herself. Now, that was not a smart thing to do.
Oh, man. Well, when it was all said and done, the couple was not hurt, thankfully, and the officer took them home.
If you see a snake and you're with a girlfriend or wife, you stay. You don't run away. Otherwise, your wife or girlfriend will get you at home.
Or she'll run away.
Or she'll run away. Coming up tonight on the news at 6, tree-killing disease. And we're not talking about the emerald ash borer, how this new fungus got to the Hoosier State, and now what's being done to contain all of that.
But first on the Now, Indie electronic cigarettes could become banned in one central Indiana city. You're watching RTV6.
Keller and Keller, right now.
Topping our lineup here on the Now, Sephora is the latest company to require diversity training. You remember Starbucks did this too? Well, we're looking at if these trainings actually make a difference. Retiring before age 40 may not seem possible, but this guy did it. He's sharing his secrets and the steps you can take at any age to save for the future. Overbooking can be a problem during the busy summer travel season. The new features airlines are rolling out to get rid of some of this stress for you.
Thank you, Kamasi. Welcome to the Now Indie on RTV6. I'm Amanda Starantino. The city of Carmel could soon ban e-cigarettes in many of its public places. A proposal introduced last month in the city council would add e-cigs to the definition of smoking. This means anywhere smoking is not allowed, e-cigs would also be not allowed. A Carmel High School resource officer said he wrote 27 citations for e-cigarettes this past school year. If the proposal passes, e-cigarettes would be banned at schools, libraries, sporting arenas, and more. An Indiana State Police trooper under arrest in Kokomo. The Kokomo Police Department says they received a complaint of threatening statements that Edward R. Titus allegedly made. State Police confirmed that Titus has been a trooper for them for about 2.5 years. Investigators have not released any other information about this case. Kevin.
A comfortable day. The humidity is down. It was refreshing this morning. If you had the windows open at all, kind of let in that fresh air before you get back to some air conditioning. Just kind of a little haze there in the sky. 76, that's our temperature in Indianapolis. 3 degrees cooler in Kokomo. And the wind is light and variable. Bloomington's at 76 degrees. Closest rain, not in Illinois, certainly not in the Hoosier State. You've got to get back into Iowa. Then portions southwest Missouri into Oklahoma and Texas. You can see it, though, sitting off to the west. That will increase our chance for rain as we get to tomorrow night and especially Wednesday. Enjoy the evening. Temperatures will slowly fall off, maybe 10 degrees between now and 11 o'clock tonight, about 66 and mostly clear at 11 o'clock.
Federal safety inspectors say there could be a new problem with some of Boeing's 737 planes. More than 300 of them may have faulty parts on their wings. Corey Rangel is looking at what's being done about this.
The Federal Aviation Administration is warning airlines to check their planes for an issue that could lead to a problem with the wings. The FAA says the faulty parts are at risk of cracking or premature failure, and airlines will have 10 days to remove and replace the parts. The FAA says the issue would not be enough to cause a plane to crash, but admits it could lead to damage while in flight.
This is something where you could have an issue, and basically when the plane lands, then mechanics would have to work on it. You know, the plane would come out of service, maybe you'd have a cancellation, some delays, but not something that could bring down an aircraft.
Aviation analyst Seth Kaplan says more than 300 Boeing planes are impacted, but just 65 of the planes are in the U.S. Among the planes affected, the 737 MAX planes, which are currently grounded following 2 crashes overseas. The latest issue was adding to the scrutiny surrounding the aircraft.
Because of everything that Boeing has gone through, because of 346 people having died aboard 737s in recent months, this is going to generate a lot more attention.
Boeing is still working on getting federal approval for a software update to fix the issues that investigators say played a role in the 2 deadly crashes. I'm Corey Rangel reporting.
Thanks, Corey. We start our Now news feed with the first day of a 3-day state visit to the United Kingdom. The Queen welcomed the President and the First Lady to Buckingham Palace, and the 2 participated in a wreath laying at the grave of the unknown warrior. Today, a judge sentenced a man who pleaded guilty to throwing a young boy from the 3rd floor at Mall of America to 19 years in prison. Emmanuel Aranda admitted that he tried to kill the 5-year-old, but amazingly, the boy survived. Today, an autopsy confirmed remains found in Arkansas are those of a 4-year-old girl who's been missing for more than a month. Malia Davis was last seen on surveillance video following her mother's boyfriend into the home they all shared. Back to our lineup. Sephora is the latest company that will be closing all of its stores to give its workers diversity training. But will it work? The research on that coming up on the Now.
Welcome back to the Now Indy on RTV6. The Better Business Bureau has a warning about a scam targeting business owners. Here's how it works. You get an email that appears to be from a potential client about an RFP or request for proposal, but the attachment or link may contain malware or try to get your personal info. The BBB says you should never click on links or open files from emails you're not expecting. Instead, contact the business by phone to confirm they sent the proposal. Also, be cautious of generic proposals that have overly broad project descriptions.
Let's get to the Now news feed. New research shows that states that expanded Medicaid coverage under the Affordable Care Act eliminated racial differences in being able to start treatment of advanced cancer. Researchers at Yale University found before the law, 5% fewer African Americans were starting treatment within a month of their cancer diagnosis. In states that expanded Medicaid, that difference went away. Today, the flower delivery company FTD filed for bankruptcy with plans to auction off its businesses. The company was founded in 1910, but has recently struggled with competition. It also had trouble paying off more than $200 million in debt it took on to buy its former rival, ProFlowers. If you've ever dreamed of having a drink at a bar with a rat, well, here's your chance. The Rat Bar is opening for 1 weekend this month in San Francisco, where for $50, guests can try an amaretto sour and even touch and hold the rodents. The rats will be allowed to roam freely around the bar. This week, Sephora will be shutting down its stores for an entire day. The beauty chain plans on using Wednesday as a day for diversity training for its employees. This comes after the singer SZA tweeted about being racially profiled at a Sephora store. The company replied saying it is committed to ensuring every member of the community feels welcome at its stores. This isn't the first time a major chain closed stores to hold diversity training. It's been more than a year now since Starbucks hosted a racial bias training day. Now, some are left asking, do these trainings actually work? Well, researchers at the University of Pennsylvania say sort of. They held their own anti-bias training with 3,000 people. Those who already supported minority groups were more likely to change their behavior. Those who didn't change their behavior at all. Overall, people seemed more responsive when they received gender bias training rather than racial bias training. People were more likely to change their attitudes toward all minority groups after learning about gender biases. More to get to in our lineup. Retiring before age 40 may not seem possible, but this guy did it. Now he's sharing the steps you can take at any age to save for the future.
RTV6 is working for you.
A brand new campaign is encouraging families to have what many see as a difficult conversation.
My mother was always very active and independent, and she was familiar with her neighborhood. But one day she stopped at the stop sign for much longer than usual, and she didn't know whether she should go forward or turn or just stay at the stop sign, and she wasn't even really sure where she was at.
I felt so much better after my son told me, "Mom, I don't want you to worry or be afraid. I'll be there for you and we'll figure it out."
That's just one of several real stories of how families dealt with warning signs of cognitive decline. The Alzheimer's Association and Ad Council are teaming up because they found out 3 out of 4 people say talking about it is challenging. But the groups also found that 90% of people would want to be told if they showed some signs of memory loss.
Nobody wants to be the bearer of bad news, right? And so people aren't always sure what they're seeing or what those signs mean. And so what we would say to anyone is, if you notice signs of cognitive decline, you don't have to know the cause of them, just start the conversation.
Memory loss isn't the only warning sign. Look for changes in personality, mood, living conditions, and withdrawing. It's important to have the conversation early because those could be warning signs for something curable. And even though Alzheimer's isn't, early medication can help with the symptoms, and the person can have a voice in how they want to be cared for. The Alzheimer's Association website has customizable conversation starters, discussion guides, and other resources. Promising news coming from the world's largest cancer conference in Chicago over the weekend. Doctors highlighted several drugs that are improving survival rates for people with some of the hardest cancers to treat. Several treatments recently studied extended the life expectancy of patients with lung cancer, advanced breast cancer, and prostate cancer. The downside, though, is that many of these drugs are still very expensive. More people are employed and people are getting paid better, but it's not the case everywhere. It actually depends on where in the country people live. The Bureau of Labor Statistics reports that on average, workers were making about $27.68 an hour at the end of last year. People in Washington, D.C. were the highest paid, making an average of $42 an hour. But in other states like Mississippi, workers were making about $21 an hour.
Thanks, Kamasi. If you earn less than a certain amount of money, between $30,000 and $50,000 a year, you should have been able to file your taxes this past year for free. But why did so many people end up paying for tax preparation? Working for you, John Matarese shows us the cash that turned out to be costly, so you don't waste your money.
TurboTax, the nation's #1 tax prep software, is facing a class action lawsuit claiming many lower income people paid for tax filing when the return should have been free. One woman believes she was one of them. Jessica Carlson is a single mom.
That's my Marley.
She decided to file her taxes through TurboTax this year after hearing it was free if you earn less than $34,000 a year. Only problem, instead of free, she got billed $90 for TurboTax, paying out almost a third of her tax refund.
TurboTax took $90 of it.
She says when she put her info into TurboTax.com, she ended up in its more expensive version, despite her low income.
It automatically put me in deluxe, and I thought, I did not make that kind of money.
What Jessica and so many other TurboTax users apparently don't realize is that unless you go to TurboTax through the IRS's website, there's a good chance you've just gone to the paid version of TurboTax. A recent investigation by the nonprofit group ProPublica found other people who ended up paying just like Jessica. ProPublica claims you must use the TurboTax link on the IRS Free File site. What did they tell you when you asked about a refund?
No. We're sorry. You should have gone to the IRS thing.
A TurboTax spokesman told us their pricing is made clear and said more people have filed their taxes for absolutely free with TurboTax than all other tax prep software companies combined. But he did tell us they would contact Jessica directly about the bill she received.
It's not fair.
A California law firm has just filed a class action suit claiming TurboTax intentionally made its free program hard to find. TurboTax is not commenting, meaning this is far from over. As always, don't waste your money. I'm John Matarese for RTV6.
Got a beautiful view for you looking from downtown just over the Soldiers and Sailors Monument toward the Indiana World War Museum and Veterans Plaza, and on the north end of all of that greenery and the memorials is the City Library. And what a great night tonight across central Indiana as temperatures are comfortable and the humidity is low. As far as our rain chances looking forward, tomorrow morning, the chance for showers is there in northwest Indiana. I think most of us will stay dry, though. This is by the time we get to mid-morning around 10 a.m. I'll move so you can see the clock there. 10 to around 1 o'clock in the afternoon. Some isolated showers or thunderstorms, not expecting much in the way of anything widespread. It's kind of our introduction back to a chance for rain after having at least a couple of dry days. Temperatures tomorrow, first thing in the morning, they'll work their way from the upper 50s overnight to 62 by 8 a.m. Noontime temperature 75. We're looking at the upper 70s to low 80s, depending on the timing of any thunderstorms and the cloud cover that moves in as a result. High temperatures tomorrow, just a little bit cooler to the north. Temperatures lower 80s to the south, just above average high temperatures for this time of year. As you look at Wednesday, that's our best chance for showers and thunderstorms. Maybe a morning round of showers and thunderstorms. Then again in the afternoon and evening, the chances will go up. There are the temperatures into the low 80s. Humidity comes up as well, and that's one of the ingredients for the heavy rainfall potential. We'll keep our eye on that as you look at the next 4 days. Temperatures 80 degrees or warmer. The daily chance for showers and thunderstorms tomorrow, just a 20% chance. The best chance short term is Wednesday. Thursday and Friday temperatures, as we mentioned, around 80 degrees with more thunderstorms roaming.
Let's get another check at the Now news feed. Changing your password every few months is now a thing of the past, at least if you use Microsoft's Windows 10. The company called periodic password expiration ancient and obsolete and says research points to better alternatives, like making sure the password isn't stolen to begin with. It is a next-day delivery war. Today, Amazon announced it's made more than 10 million products available for free one-day delivery to Prime members in the United States. The move comes just about 3 weeks after Walmart announced it would begin offering free next-day shipping on about 200,000 products in certain cities. Interest rates for new cars are the lowest they've been all year. According to Edmunds, the annual percentage rate, or APR, on new finance vehicles averaged 6.1% in May, compared with about 6.3% in April. The dip is due in part to a bump in 0% finance deals. Quitting your job and retiring when you're in your 30s or 40s, it sounds like a dream, but Jace Larson shows us how one man says you can do it, and that there's still time if you are older too and haven't saved for retirement.
Yeah, we saved a lot of money. We do the electricity ourselves, too.
You might say that Carl Jensen is gutsy or crazy.
What are you studying in science?
At 37 years old, he said adios to his boss and his job.
I had a really bad day at work, and I remember thinking I had this incredible stress. I'm like, I can't do this for the next 15 to 20 years of my life.
Now he's at home with his family full-time and making it all work by slashing the family's expenses.
I don't need a new car, so I don't have a new car. And I don't care about my clothes, so I don't buy brand name clothes. And I have an old phone because, honestly, I don't want to learn a new phone.
This family of four survives on just more than $40,000 a year, an amount that his retirement fund can generate, along with his wife's job at a local startup.
I realized early retirement is just a numbers game, and if you're a saver and can be a little bit frugal when you're younger and let the stock market work for you, you can actually stop working early.
People that haven't saved very much for retirement still have great choices available to them if they're flexible.
Retirement guru Kim Curtis understands Carl's choice might not be for everyone, and she says your approach can be different. People in their 20s need to focus on starting a savings routine, a 401k, a Roth IRA, and keep credit card balances low. As you get in your 30s, you need to focus on asking for a raise and building your salary up. Be bold when you ask for that raise. Your 40s, she says, will be tough. Having kids who are growing up means it's going to be even harder to save.
The key around 40s is making sure that you don't give up the savings that you started in your 20s.
Keep building your savings in your 50s and consider not retiring until maybe your 70s. It might not be as bad as it sounds.
The idea of not working and stepping off and not having any new income from the time you retire through life expectancy is really a fallacy now, because a lot of people have side hustles, and a side hustle in retirement could be an Uber driver, it could be a wag walker, or dog sitting.
If you can keep working and not depend on Social Security, you're going to really benefit. For the average person, Social Security pays about $1,000 a month at age 62. But if you don't take payments until you're 66, that can go up to $1,425. And look what happens if you don't start drawing on your Social Security until you're 70. That monthly amount goes up to $1,800, Curtis says.
That's significant.
Her message, save, save, save. And if you haven't been, it's not the end of the world. You just might have to choose to work a little bit longer. Even Carl has decided that no work isn't exactly for him. He still picks up some contract jobs in between repairing and adding on to his house. Work he all does himself. I'm Jace Larson.
Thanks, Jace. Finally, in our lineup, overbooking can be a problem during the busy summer travel season. The new features airlines are rolling out to get rid of some of this stress for you. That's next on The Now.